Hello and welcome back. We're into our second match of this National University Esports League pre-season friendlies, and it's ACOG versus Plymouth. What do you think is going to happen here, Scoundrel?
I haven't seen Plymouth play before, but from the looks of their solo queue, they're not too bad players. ACOG obviously are second seed from last tournament, going all the way to the final against Manchester. We just saw Manchester play. This could be their main rival, so it'll be interesting to see how this game turns out for them. Plymouth, on the other hand, though, they could pose a decent threat. I mean, I have seen ACOG play. They are very good. They did win their last round, and we are casting the first of the quarterfinals from the winners bracket. If you want to go and get an update, the Reddit post is posted in Twitch chat, has all of the standings there. You can also go to www.thenewell.com/preseason friendly 2, and the standings bracket is on there where you can view both the losers and the winners bracket at the same time. Beautiful technology. So, going into bans, and we have Zed and Twisted Fate. What's your opinions right now?
Twisted Fate is a common ban in ranked fives and in team competitions just because he's got such global presence with that Destiny. He can be in top lane, he can be in bot lane. He doesn't even really need to have left his lane for that long, 2 or 3 seconds, and he's in range of it. Zed, also a good ban because he can assassinate your AD carry, he can assassinate your mid laner. If you put him in a 1v1 match at mid lane, if he uses his shadow to farm, then he's a bit susceptible to ganks, but he also has that shadow to get away from ganks if he needs to. So they're both very, very good mid laners.
And a Zack and Elise ban coming out, so 2 highly mobile, possible junglers or top laners. You don't often see Elise in the mid lane that much anymore, but it can happen. They're looking to take away these tanky sort of AP bruisers, you'd call them, although Zack probably being more in the tank category than the Elise. Jace getting banned out, obviously don't want to see that poke that he can bring. And Caitlyn looking like they don't want the lane bully that is Caitlyn coming out in that bot lane.
What surprised me thus far is we haven't seen a Vayne pick. Vayne is very good. Maybe she's more of a solo queue player, but if you can get her farmed, if you can just give her some free farm, Double Lift's proven it in lots of LCS matches, you get her some farm, you get her just a head-on farm of her opposing laner, she can wreck face with those silver bolts.
And there wasn't a Thresh ban, and the first pick coming out for ACOG is the Thresh, the master of the chains, the keeper of souls. Definitely going to be seeing some interesting hook plays in the bottom lane. I'd love to see a Blitzcrank now so I can start singing Hook City, but I won't. I wonder what Plymouth are going to bring out.
And it's very hard to counter a Thresh. Janna, I'm predicting this. I was going to say that before they put it up, I'm just saying. Janna's very good because she's got her Tornado, her Howling Gale, and if Thresh tries to get in on that death sentence, she can actually knock him away, so he doesn't actually get close enough to use his Flay properly.
And a Jarvan coming out. Obviously, we saw him last game. Was on the losing team, but did do very well in the early game, like I said he would. He does have that ganking presence from about levels 1 to 4 that most other junglers can't provide, bar maybe a Maokai. Well, you don't even see Maokai that much. I actually play Maokai a fair amount because I think he's pretty good if your lanes know what he's doing. But regardless, and Jarvan has actually taken Ignite, so it could be a top lane Jarvan. And Udyr
what we could
out.
see is a switch. Just
pre-made
fives. Like it could
pre-made fives, but often they order themselves in the way they want their picks to take place, so obviously the support players usually give, but we could see some picks. Yeah, very true. That's a Shen locked in. Like I said, he hasn't been banned this game, he wasn't banned last game, wasn't picked. Shen has been locked in this game, and the Udyr. Interestingly, that could have been a bait from Plymouth. They could be taking Jarvan top lane because he does do very well against Shen. Udyr obviously seen that surge in popularity since the Primal skin came out. Hasn't actually had that much changes since the changes to his Tiger stance a couple of months ago, where he actually had the magic damage on it converted to physical damage. But he's still a very strong jungler.
Yeah, the thing with him is you've got the Lantern coming out from the Thresh as well, and Udyr has problems sort of closing down champions, getting close enough to them to actually use his stun, use his bear stance. But with that nice Lantern from Thresh, you can just get him close enough to be able to use that bear stance really quickly, get into the lane, and it's just a super gank, and if you have Shen ulting onto someone as well, with the taunt coming out, that shadow dash, that's a really, really CC heavy gank in the bot lane.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see where this Kennen comes out, because obviously Kennen works really well with the Jarvan. If you can lock a Kennen in with the entire team from the enemy, that's a Kennen popping his slicing Maelstrom and hitting everyone that's in Jarvan's Cataclysm as well. Kennen often usually seen in the top lane these days, but he can do all right in the mid lane. He's not bad, but it doesn't work particularly well with a Janna. Obviously, Janna being the main counter pick to a Kennen, and actually Janna being a bit of a counter pick to a Jarvan as well. Maybe they're just looking for the safety of the Monsoon as opposed to try and utilize it in team fights, because actually with the team fight they've got with the Varus ultimate, the Kennen ultimate, and the Jarvan ultimate, you actually wouldn't be wanting to use a Monsoon while those ultimates are taking place. And you said you called the Vayne, but it looks like we could have a Vayne coming out. It's being hovered over right now, but hasn't been locked in. One problem with Vayne is that she does have a very weak early laning phase, which means if you can take advantage of that, she can actually get put too far behind to make much of an impact in mid-game. With 9 seconds to go, that's Alessandra. See, I did say last game, and I hope they don't change it, I really like Alessandra. I think Alessandra is a very good champion.
Against the Kennen as well, she can use her ultimate just to keep her in place, use that Ice Tomb, and the Kennen, it's basically a free Zhonya. It's like the Kennen can come in with the slicing Maelstrom, try and do lots of damage, and Lissandra's just like, okay, well, I just Zhonya's myself, you take damage from my ultimate, and now I'm going to come out and stun lock you and kill you. Like, it's going to be interesting to see whether they decide to try and put the Kennen in the top lane, or whether they're going to pick an AP mid now just to try and counter that Lissandra out.
Yeah, and this is a very powerful team, I think, coming in from ACOG. I think both teams have good synergy, and that's an Orianna. So that is going to be a Jarvan jungle, a Kennen top lane, and Orianna mid lane. I haven't seen anyone select Smite yet from Plymouth, so hopefully there isn't any sort of crazy dual top lane thing coming out. But could be Kennen top lane, could be Orianna mid lane, and I would be surprised to see it any other way.
It's interesting because actually Jarvan had Ignite and he's moved across to Teleport, which implies that he's looked at his summoner spells and been like, I'm not going to take Smite. That would be, it would slow him down in the jungle, but a Teleport from that to try and counter the Teleport coming out from Shen, that would be really interesting. If they decide to do this,
it doesn't look like Plymouth are looking to take a Smite. Unless it changes at the last 10 seconds.
I guess maybe they're listening to the stream and being like,
you're
not going to take a Smite.
They could be trolling us a little bit. But if this goes to countdown, it's 1 second away, and that's in...
There's a Smite.
He's just taking a Smite.
Trying to troll us.
He pushed it to the limits right there. Plymouth being the trolls. Oh, God. So... now they're going into game. Let's sort of talk about what you expect to see from the teams.
ACOG have a really interesting team because they've got, as I said, the death sentence from Thresh. They've got some CC lock from Lissandra. They've got Shadow Dash from Shen. They've got Udyr with his Bear Stance and Condemn from Vayne. So if they manage to CC lock someone, they can take him out. And Vayne can chase down people very well with that final hour as well. Udyr with the Bear Stance, Shen with the Shadow Dashes, Thresh with the death sentence. They have a lot of ability to chase a team. I'm slightly worried about how they're going to react to an AoE comp, especially with Janna being able to sort of disengage really well. If Plymouth get a good AoE set of ultimates coming in with the Orianna Shockwave, with the Chain of Corruption, with the Slicing Maelstrom and the Cataclysm, I'm worried as to how ACOG are going to react to that, because I don't know if they're going to be able to withstand all of that and still have enough health to win the fight.
Yeah, and actually Janna is a fairly solid pick against a Lissandra. Lissandra with that Glacial Path. You can see the marker as where she's going to appear. Janna can time her Monsoon so that when she appears, she can time it straight away. So it'll be a sort of a race of reactions, but if Janna can Monsoon before Lissandra gets any of her skills off, that kind of makes her Glacial Path into the middle of the team almost defunct. But then would you expect to be seeing a Lissandra Glacial Path into the middle of a Kennen, Orianna, Varus? Unsure, depends on how the laning phases go, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if we try and saw a swap here, because I don't think that Vayne wants to go up against a Varus, because Vayne doesn't do very well against most people in lane, to be honest, and Varus especially. And Shen is an alright 2v1, you know, he's got the taunt and the turret. He can actually go along and get some fairly cheesy kills with taunts and the turrets and and ganks from the junglers. But the one thing about the Udyr that makes him slightly weaker than Jarvan in the sense that Udyr is actually a stronger 1v1 jungler than Jarvan. However, he hasn't really got that much element of surprise with his ganks. Like, he has to use bear stance to get into lane, and if ward coverage is good, there's not many ways that he can avoid wards. Jarvan can jump walls. Jarvan can have that quick, almost instinct, reactional sort of re-engage type sort of play that the Jarvan standard and Dragon Strike sort of combo offers. Udyr is more of this bruisery teamfight jungler. He's very powerful in teamfights, especially when he doesn't really have anyone to kite in. But he doesn't have that, especially if warding is good, he doesn't have the same sort of ganking presence. Bear Stance is very powerful. Don't get me wrong, Bear Stance is a very powerful spell. The stun that offers is very good. You can do it every 6 seconds. And he's got high damage. He's very sort of bruisery. He has high damage and high sustainability, like sort of tankability in lanes. So it just depends on how well Plymouth ward up here, because Udyr is countered fairly easily by wards. However, with the Thresh, that does get around some of the problems that not having a gap closing sort of combo set offers. So Thresh does have his Dark Passage that Udyr can just chomp onto and sort of hit people with,
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting. I think Thresh and Vayne versus Kennen. I think Kennen's going to lose that lane. He has got the Lightning Rush to try and get away from Thresh death sentences, but I think if Thresh lands one, Kennen's dead. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do go for that lane swap, and if they do try and just get the extra damage out there. Vayne, if she's farmed, she's going to be able to beat, I think, a Jarvan and an Orianna, as long as she can use her tumble to get away from the Command Shockwave and from the EQ combo there from Jarvan.
Yeah, and if you guys are interested, I think the other stream, which is the Newell 2, so twitch.tv/the Newell 2, there is a game going on between Imperial College and Manchester Beta, both of them looking strong in their first games. So if you're interested in seeing Imperial or the Manchester B team, head over to the twitch.tv/the Newell 2. If you want to support us, go to facebook.com/the Newell UK. We're also on Twitter at the Newell. And you can also go to our website, which is thenewell.com, and all of this tournament information is all at that website at the address thenewell.com/preseason friendly 2. We will be having information going up soon about our forthcoming university league that we're going to be running all year. We'll be releasing information about the setup about that soon, so stay tuned on all of our feeds for more information about that. So yeah, what are you thinking to see level 1 here? I think that ACOG have got a very strong level 1.
They really do. I mean, Udyr, if he takes Bear Stance level 1, Shadow Dash from Shen, Death Sentence from Thresh, that's a lot of level 1. But if Janna sees the level 1 coming out, takes that Howling Gale, that's a lot of disengage as well.
Yeah, so everyone quick off the mark buying their items. Udyr starting Doran's Blade in the jungle, something made popular by Diamond Procs recently in the LCS. You often see that Elise can also start Doran's Blade these days. So quite an interesting start. Looking to go aggressive, I think, Udyr. They're very strong on the counter jungling. If you take Doran's Blade, you can often 1v1 most other junglers. Jarvan just opting for that normal Hunter Machete start. We also have Kennen picking up a Doran's Blade. Looks like he's going to be going for that early AD start. He has got running with AP runes, so he obviously will likely be building into AP. But it looks like we have a double invade coming on here.
Yeah, ACOG are just heading across towards this red buff. They haven't actually warded. There's a ward down from Plymouth at the red buff of ACOG. So I would have liked to have seen a quick ward, like just an explorer ward across the bush there from ACOG. It would have been interesting to see if they could catch someone out. But looks like Plymouth might be coming back across. Shen's going to go back. He hasn't leveled anything yet. But it looks like actually Plymouth might be coming into this bush. There's a ward there going into the bush near Wraiths. Here comes Janna. Janna might have spotted Udyr there. I think they might have been able to see that. They've all backed away. Lots of back pings going on. And Kennen's just going to head up around the side towards mid lane. And ACOG are going back towards their blue buff. So wards placed everywhere.
We did call it. Looks like they are running a lane swap. Don't want to put that Vayne up against the Varus. Shen is going to go bot. I think Thresh and Vayne should win out against the Kennen until level 6, and once Kennen hits that level 6, if he can get a gank from Jarvan, I think he'll have the advantage in a fight, because he'll have the experience advantage if he takes that fight as soon as he hits level 6 before Thresh and Vayne hit level 6.
The way they've set this up, actually, I think Vayne and Thresh might go mid lane. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, here they are. They're going across towards mid lane, just trying to shut down that Orianna. Lissandra versus Kennen. I think Lissandra wins that matchup. So it'll be interesting to see how Vayne and Thresh manage to shut down this Orianna.
So we're seeing the AD carry and Thresh heading mid lane. Now, this is good because I think what they'll be doing is looking to take an early mid turret, giving them that presence across the map, looking for Udyr basically will have the ability to run through the lanes and run up to sort of behind top lane and behind bot lane without much fear of being seen. He'll also be able to counter that blue fairly easily. Looks like they might be trying to starve that blue from Orianna, because Orianna can be very, very, very deadly if played right.
It looks like you're dropping a few frames, so I'm just going to try and see what's happening here. You keep talking, I'll just try and reorganize things.
Okay, it's just the video in the game, so it's just something to do with our setup. Although actually, I'm watching the stream and we're doing perfectly alright. Okay. So it just, but
Ignite coming down here on Janna. Udyr's going to come in, uses the flash. He's going to be able to get this Bear Suns. Bear Suns comes out. Howling Gale, Barrett's doing lots of damage. Uses the cleanse straight away when he gets stunned. Really nice cleanse there. And Ignite going down mid lane on Vayne as well. Jarvan's going to come in with Damascene Standard. Orianna's very low. Lots of damage coming down here on Shen. Exhaust goes down. I'm not sure that was needed, but it looks like everyone's just going to back away from that.
Yeah, very, very well played from Plymouth right there. They've actually put Vayne pretty low, which means that she's going to be fairly vulnerable, even though she has her... No, she actually used her flash, so she's actually fairly vulnerable now. She's got barrier, but that Vayne is sitting on around 250 HP. That's like a one combo from a ball onto Jarvan and Jarvan standard into Dragon Strike sort of dissonance type combination there. Shen also taken pretty low, and Udyr, with that Doran's Blade having to be forced back, but he is coming back down bot. He looks like he wants to get this gank off onto this bot lane turret, but Shen really taking a big beating right now in this bot lane. He shouldn't be taking that much damage under turret. Should be backing off a little bit.
Lots of damage coming down. Orianna, Silver Box comes out, not quite enough damage. Udyr's actually coming into bot lane. Is he going to be able to get anything happening here? He hasn't got flash. Varus flashes away because he hasn't got that cleanse anymore. Jarvan's going to come into mid lane. Is he going to be able to get anything happening? No, he's just going to back off. Vayne is very low, but Orianna is very low and has no mana as well. Engage here on top lane, lots of damage coming out onto the cannon, but it looks like he's just going to use that lightning rush to get away.
Yeah, so all the lanes really being put low actually, forcing that bot lane out, and it looks like Janna's rotating mid to go with...
Death Sentence landing here on Jarvan, but Jarvan's just going to back away. That was just inside of tower range, so the Thresh couldn't follow up on anything there.
Yeah, it looks like the Janna's heading mid with the Orianna, and actually Varus is going to 1v1 the Shen at bot lane. Apparently we're having some audio lag as well. If you can have a quick look at that, I'll just keep talking. So yeah, so we have... No, actually, she just looked like she went to ward, or possibly wary off a little bit, but she's actually rotating bot again. Maybe just warding for the Varus, but no, she's heading into the bot lane. Udyr hanging around that mid lane, looking like he wants to get a gank off. Thresh and Vayne are really pushing hard, but they haven't managed to get any damage onto this turret yet. So maybe they were just trying to get the kills or the farm for Vayne early on. Obviously, it's in their favour to have Vayne with farm. Vayne with farm is very scary. Once she can get that Blade of the Ruined King, she can kind of snowball into...
Orianna actually getting caught out here, but nice dodge. Flay comes in, condemn into the wall, lots of damage coming out. It's just going to be one more proc. He goes for it, and he gets the first blood. Really nicely done there by the Vayne.
Yeah, actually, Orianna was a bit out of position there. She really put herself in a dodgy
flash
position.
in here by Lissandra in the top lane. Lots of damage coming down. Ignite's going to tick. Flash away. Here comes the Glacial Path, but he goes down. She follows up the Glacial Path after the cannon died.
Yeah, very odd from the Orianna, like I was saying. I didn't see the top lane. I think that Lissandra just played that well. But Orianna put herself between Udyr, who was at her wraiths, and she put herself in a position where Vayne could get a really easy condemn off. Thresh could follow up with an easy death sentence, and that would have been a dead Orianna. I think she just kind of put herself into a bad position right now. Bit of action going on down in bot lane. Shen just getting a little bit poked.
So yeah, I mean, a bit of damage going down. You expect it when you're doing a 1v2. Not really a huge amount happening really in that bot lane. I mean, Shen still has his flash up if he needs to get away. Ignite's about to come back off, so if he lands a nice Shadow Dash, he should be able to get enough damage out.
Yeah, and to be honest, a fed Vayne is probably where they want to be going. I mean, Vayne is 40 CS, Varus is 40 CS. Vayne that can go even against the opposing AD carry is a really good for the team that has the Vayne, because obviously she scales incredibly, one of the best late AD game carries in the game, with that Blade of the Ruined King now being almost her perfect item, having everything she needs.
Shadow Dash actually here onto the Janna. Janna gets one auto attack off, lots of damage, 2 tower shots, getting her down to around 150 health, but Shen deciding not to ignite that.
Yeah, I don't know whether it would have been the kill if he had ignited it. I think he just wanted to sort of burn the flash, try and put a bit of pressure on this bot lane, force the duo back, because if Shen can get a bit more farm here, a bit more farmers, because obviously having the 2v1 Orianna is always going to farm better than the Shen. So if he can keep up with that Orianna and farm, or the Kennen in farm, that's good. Orianna getting caught with the Death Sentence.
Actually landing here, yeah. Flay coming out, Silver Bolt's pop. It's one more would be enough. The Thresh might go down, uses his lantern there just to keep himself alive, and Orianna survives as well.
Yeah, Vayne actually opting to use Condemn to finish her Silver Bolts instead of her auto attack. Odd, because Condemn only does 45 damage if you don't hit anyone into a object, whereas if she auto attacks, she would have been hitting roughly sort of 80, 90 damage, and may have been enough to finish off the Orianna. So yeah, a bit of a misplay from Vayne there. Probably should have opted to use the auto attack instead of the Condemn. Shen actually
getting really pushed out in this top lane. I mean, he's ahead of the Shen in farm, but Lissandra's on 63 and Orianna's on 43, so that's just... I think the Lissandra's just doing really well to push the Kennen out of lane.
Yeah, and Shen...
Shadow Dash coming here onto the Varus. Varus really low. Uses the cleanse quite late there. Takes 2 tower shots. Janna takes a tower shot as well. Thresh is coming down. Are they going to be able to get anything off here? It looks like Thresh might come in from the side to try and get some damage onto this Varus, but I'm not sure if it will be enough. Here comes the Thresh. No, he's tottering around. I'm not sure if he's going to go in. It's just hanging out in bot lane now.
Thresh just coming down to try and support the Shen. They don't want this turret to fall early on. They don't want the global gold going in favour of Plymouth. ACOG just really looking to extend the laning phase.
Kennen might get taken down. Jarvan actually coming in here from the side. Is that going to be enough damage on Kennen? The Ignite's down yet, but Ignite comes down on Lissandra. It's enough damage to kill Kennen. Is the Lissandra going to go down yet? Red procs there just from the Jarvan, enough to take the damage. It looks like Thresh might be staying bot lane with this Shen. Vayne getting lots of damage off onto this Orianna, but Orianna I think might be able to trade with Vayne 1v1. Thresh getting the hook, missing the hook. A nice flash there from Vayne to avoid the Shadow Dash. Looks like Janna might get taken quite low. Thresh is getting quite low as well. Varus hasn't got any mana, so isn't going to be able to use that Chain of Corruption, which is actually down on cooldown at the moment. Janna getting taken quite low as well. It isn't 6 yet. There's a ward in that bush there, so you're not going to be able to be sneaky. Udyr coming down from mid lane. It looks like there's a ward in that bush as well, so Varus is just going to back it off, use that piercing arrow just to show Udyr they know he's there.
Yeah, I apologise if any of you guys are still getting freezing on the stream. I'm getting it too. I'm not sure what it could be. We thought we found the root of the problem, but it doesn't look like that was the root of the problem. I know the audio is fine. It's just a bit of a video delay.
Well, I'll turn our settings down a little bit and see if that helps.
Yeah, see if that helps out. Actually, the flash, that bot lane engage was a bit odd. Varus flashed when the Death Sentence actually missed anyway, and then Shadow dashed onto a area in which Varus had flashed away from about 2 seconds before, so actually a bit of a series of derps really. But I think Vayne is actually going to win out against this Orianna. Mid lane actually works quite well for Vayne. Oh, and an engage coming out, but a great flash to stop the knockup, and that's a Vayne flash gone down for an EQ combo from Jarvan. Look, he could come round and try and camp it again, but Thresh is moving round. We haven't actually seen much from this Udyr.
Here comes Thresh coming in from the side. Is he going to land a Death Sentence? No. Like Udyr, yeah, he's been trying to gank. He did a couple of good ganks in bot lane, burst a cleanse there on Varus, but I think it's difficult because there's quite good ward coverage in that bot lane, and that's where he's trying to be as helpful as he can. Jarvan actually coming here, nice dissonance into the Cataclysm. Vayne hasn't got flash. There's a lantern there, clicks the lantern, uses that final hour to try and chase down onto this Jarvan. Lots of damage going down. Udyr's here as well, but Udyr, as we said, he just can't get there quickly enough.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Udyr against highly mobile laners. His bear stance doesn't actually give him that much bonus movement speed until he's either got sort of maybe boots of swiftness or leveled up his bear stance a bit more, and you never really level up bear stance.
Shadow Dash coming here onto the Varus. Varus doesn't even take a tower shot. That was an interestingly timed Shadow Dash. I don't think you can really time it well enough to get your opponents to take shower shots. Jarvan coming in on the Lissandra in top lane, but lots of danger pings coming out onto the Jarvan there from the red team.
Yeah, Yude is playing Tiger Stance Yude, which was what I would have expected with a Doran's Blade. So he's not looking to get that sort of mid-early game boost from the Phoenix stance, and his clear times will be a bit slower, which is why his CS is comparable to Jarvan, who's been ganking a lot. And Vayne getting a good condemn onto Orianna in the mid lane. So yeah, but he will have a good single target sticking presence for those mid-game team fights. Shen actually taking a bit of damage onto turret. And
Shen keeps getting harassed, but he's not getting harassed enough to die, which I think is the main point. I mean, he's not feeding his lane. He's got his ultimate. You know, he can stand united to someone at any time, really. And although he's being pushed, the Syndra's pushing the cannon a lot better than he's being pushed to his tower.
Possibly that we've sorted the stream a bit, guys. Let us know if you get any more problems. It's looking fine on my end from where I'm watching. So if it gets any worse, just let us know. Yeah, so Vayne actually doing really well here. She's got 97 farm at 12 minutes. Good amount of farm. She's working towards that Blade the Ruin King. She's currently sitting on 1,200 gold. She needs about 600 more to finish up that Blade the Ruin King.
The Syndra actually trying to gank here from Wraith, but not able to get a stun on that Orianna. It looks like they might try and push out this mid lane. I mean, Lyssandra's already got the tower in top lane, so this mid lane tower is the next viable option. Oh, Death Sentence here lands onto the Orianna. Here comes the ult from the Syndra, and Orianna's dead. Ignite goes down onto the Janna there, and she's going to get taken down as well there by the Syndra. Really nicely played, and they might even be able to get another tower out of this as well.
Yeah, we've heard, guys, it could be Switch with the problems, because apparently it's been happening on a couple of other streams. I'm not sure. I'll sort of get in contact with anyone that we can and keep you updated. It's working okay for me right now, but it could just be sort of a personal issue between
here comes the engaged mid lane. Kennen on this Vayne, and Jarvan's there as well. Is there going to be enough damage? Vayne goes down. Nice box there from Thresh. Like, if Vayne had been able to get to the Lantern, it would have stopped them getting anywhere, but the fact that she wasn't meant that the box was really useless in that situation.
Yeah, and actually we haven't seen anyone try for an early dragon. I would have expected a Tiger Stance Yude to really try and push for an early dragon, just because of the power that a single target Tiger Stance Yude does give you. Jarvan actually looking to take the blue buff, but Yude did counter jungle it while all of that action was going on in the mid lane. It does mean that the blue buff is free for Lysandra to pick up, and Yude can pick up one too, which is good for his clearing time, because obviously he has a low clear time being a Tiger Stance Yude and not a Phoenix Stance Yude. But we do have the bot lane from Plymouth rotating mid, trying to take this mid tower turret. They are 3k gold behind right now, so they need some turrets to try and catch up.
And with the Janna there as well. Ignite actually going down to the Thresh. Here comes Chen of Corruption, but the Stand United's come out. Vayne's there, taking very low. He might go down, playing the Moon King there. Lots of nice Shadow Dash there onto the Vows. Vows might go down to Ignite. No, he just dies to Ignite. Janna might go down as well here. She has to use the Flash and that shield to try and get away. If there's another Shadow Dash here, this Janna's going to go down, but chasing very deep. Shen going in there on the Orianna. That was actually Uda. Shadow Dash there under tower. Lots of damage going onto the Orianna. Nice Monsoon to knock the Shen away, and Kennen's coming from the side trying to save people. Death Sentence landing there on the cannon minion, which is the most important target in this fight. Here comes the Syndra from the side, but gets to activate her Glacial Path, so it doesn't get the kill, but gets the kill anyway on the Janna. Catapulting coming out from Jarvan. Kennen's going to be in the middle of this. He might use his Electrical Surge to get away. No, Shen gets the kill, doesn't manage to get away. He was quite in the middle of the team there, and it looks like this Jarvan's going to have to back away. Varus and Orianna are alive and are back up, so they're going to be able to defend this second tier turret.
Yeah, but all in all, brilliant play from ACOG coming out right there. Shen had a little bit of miscommunication with Yude. He taunted the Orianna under turret, but actually Yude turned around and started hitting the Kennen, so Shen was left up there alone. Good job it didn't die, because he actually proved quite useful in that teamfight. Jarvan actually being a classic I'm Jarvan, I'm helping, to put Kennen in his Cataclysm, which actually meant that he couldn't escape from the Lysandra, and effectively gave the kill up right there.
I think Plymouth might get the middle tower out of this, so they get the objective they were hoping for at the expense of 2 kills and a dragon.
Yeah, so not all in all worth, but at least they got a little bit of gold back up, and they've only stuck to a 4k gold disadvantage right now. Really, every lane is won out for ACOG right now, so with their incredibly good late game and their good team fight, they will be hard pressed to get beaten in a team fight, even though the big AoE competition is there for Plymouth. We just have to yet to see them chain it together. There needs to be a 5v5 team fight, and that's where their strength is going to be, where Jarvan can jump in, position the Orianna ball, Varus can get his ultimate off, and
they're getting engaged on mid lane. Dissonance in the wrong place. You hadn't put the shield there onto the Jarvan. Jarvan gets death centered. Vayne using that ultimate to try and get enough damage. Vader the Rune King. There comes the box out of Thresh. Vayne needs to target down this Orianna. There comes the Condemn. Jarvan might go down as well. He's used the Dragon Strike, not really getting anything. Vayne gets a double kill, and he's miles ahead now. 4 kills to 0 on that Varus.
Yeah, he's got his Blade of the Ruin King, and he has 1,600 gold. That's going to be a straight-up Zeal or a BF sword going in favour of the
Looks like Uda's actually going to gain it on this Varus. They're coming totally the wrong way. Cleanse comes down, Death Sentence misses, there's the Chain of Corruption, but Varus is going to go down. That was a really bad position there from Varus. He came in the wrong side of the fight, should have just backed away like the Janna's done, and basically Varus just gave him a free kill and burnt his Chain of Corruption and his Cleanse.
Yeah, I think maybe he was trying to look to join up with the Kennen and get a Chain of Corruption and Slicing Maelstrom combo. They just didn't quite place it in the right position. Varus walking in through River and being caught by those wards, so everyone knew that he was there. This Vayne is going to be beastly in team fights, and I'm not sure there's much that Plymouth can do to shut her down. They've got the Jarvan with the Orianna and the Kennen. If they can get onto her with a EQ combo from the Jarvan and a Kennen and Orianna.
Looks like Vayne actually going to get caught out. Has to use the flash across the wall there to the Baron pit. Was caught out. Nice Death Sentence going to land here onto the Orianna. Here comes the Flare in a second. Lots of damage coming out from Vayne. Vayne just melts people at the moment, especially that Orianna, who is miles behind, 50 CS and 3 kills behind on Lissandra. Uda coming in here onto the Jarvan. Kennen's over on the side. Lissandra's going to chase down on the Kennen. She uses the Glacial Path to try and get in the middle. Nice Glacial Path. Electric Surge comes out there just to get the Kennen away. And it looks like there are some pings going down here for this red buff.
Shen has his ultimate, but he is happy farming in that bot lane. He knows his team can look after themselves right now. That Orianna, really good play to catch out that Vayne who was stuck in between her and Kennen, but she used the flash and then got caught by an incredible Death Sentence from the Thresh
Vayne
right
actually
there.
might get caught out here by the Varus and Kennen coming across, but they know that the rest of the team's over there. They've got wards in those bushes. Are they going to engage on this? Jarvan almost getting caught. Shen actually pushing this bottom lane like a boss. Jarvan's going to go in here. He goes in, hits the Thresh, doesn't manage to get the knock up on the Vayne. Casperson coming out on Vayne. Vayne uses standing nice coming in here on Vayne as well. Varus in from the side. Lots of damage coming out. Lissandra managed to get the kill on Janna. Orianna Dissonance hits one person, not enough. There Shen gets a kill. Double kill. Orianna's going to get chased down with his final Iron Blade of the Rune King active. Orianna manages to get the kill on Uda, but this is going to be a dead Varus as well. Vayne coming in. Chain of Corruption. Really nice there. Only doesn't actually chain onto anyone, so really just a corruption. Lissandra gets the kill on Varus, and we can see they're getting progressively less and less gold because ACOG are just walking away with this.
Yeah, it's now a 10k gold advantage for ACOG, and they have played this brilliantly. The Vayne has been protected in every team fight. A little known fact for some people, Vayne can actually tumble through the walls of the Jarvan's Cataclysm, so Jarvan can't actually lock down Vayne that easily, even when she doesn't have flash. So really great play. Stan United coming out onto the lane, taunting everyone away from her. Then she could just sit there and clean up from the back. And to be honest, Lissandra and the rest of the team just zoning out all the big AoE team players. Varus was in the middle of nowhere, got caught out after the fight, and really this is just going to be a little bit one-sided for ACOG right now. Plymouth can come back, you know, they've just got to get a good team fight. Everything can be turned with one good team fight. They just need to get it back into the game, but Varus hasn't even finished his first item. Vayne, well on the way to her second. She's got 3,700 gold. When she goes back, it's going to be a straight-up Phantom Dancer, I think. Maybe even a straight-up Infinity Edge. She's almost on that amount of gold that she can do it. And that's a static Shiv, actually, so she could build a static Shiv and then gone for the pickaxe, probably working towards that last Whisper. Yulia having picked up his Swift
Shadow's coming here on Janna, but there's no one there to follow up. Just going to use that Death's Passage to get away. It was a nice Shadow Dash, it got a little bit of damage down, but does waste a bit of energy, so it'll be interesting to see whether that costs him later on. I don't think it will, I just say that because that's what casters say when they see people misuse skills.
Cost him later on in that sort of 20-minute delay between getting full energy for Shen. Right.
Oh,
No.
Shadow Dash here misses. That's because he used it earlier really badly. So here comes damage out from the Lysandra. Uses that Glacial Fire. She uses that ultimate on herself. Kennan's going to use his Slicing Mouse, and Cataclysm comes out. Nice tumble there from Vayne to the walls again. This Janet's got the exhaust down. Chain of Corruptions actually come down on Shen. Jenna has to flash away, but is there going to be another Shadow Dash? She doesn't seem to have enough energy. He did use quite a bit earlier. Monsoon comes out there. Don't quite see the effect of it. Lots of damage coming down onto Janet from the Vayne. Varus is going to get taken down, used his cleanse, but wasn't anything there for him to cleanse. Shadow Dash actually gets the kill. That was a nice Shadow Dash there. Obviously, he hadn't used a bad one earlier. So.
And the GG well plays coming out from Plymouth. I'm not sure if they're going to surrender or if they're just expecting ACOG to finish the game, and they've gone for the surrender vote. Really well played, and that is what you see when you don't get a ban Vayne. She's not just bad in, she's not just good in solo queue, turns out she's good in team play as well. And I did expect them to put her in a lane where she wasn't going to go 2v2 versus Varus, because Vayne is really, really good 2v1, and she needs that free farm. And that's what she got. They gave her the free farm, and she just was an absolute wrecking ball. And to be honest, Plymouth just couldn't get off that team fight that they wanted. They wanted the big 5v5 AoE team fight, but they didn't group. Their team fights were disjointed. They got caught out. It just wasn't as good as it should have been from them. They will drop down into the losers bracket to face one of the losers teams. I'll have to confirm that for you. But congratulations, ACOG, moving on in the tournament. Looking to get a bit of revenge on Manchester, I feel, because Manchester beat them in the final of our last tournament. But thanks, guys. We'll be 5-10 minutes break. I think we'll try and have a look into whether it's Twitch or us that's causing the lag problems, and we'll get back to you. I'm not sure what our next game is going to cast. We'll put it up on the stream when we know. I think it's because we're still waiting for some teams to finish. This is quite a quick game. And we'll see you in roughly sort of, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.